Good morning and welcome to the Wednesday morning classes. The focus of today's class is always a full body training session, but we'll also be incorporating hip hinging patterns, squat patterns, diagonal lifts and chops. And we're going to begin with just making sure we're well connected to our feet. My name is Uttara and thanks so much for coming today. So first thing, if you could just stand a little tall, spread your toes, press them into the floor. Slightly engage the glutes on the outside of your legs. Slightly bring the shoulders back. And if you can get a sense of the bottoms of your feet, focus on even distribution of your body weight, heels, outside of the feet, and the toes. Make sure all the toes are connected to the floor. And now to help the cardiovascular component of our training, just for 5 seconds, if you could please focus on your heart. And relax the shoulders. Beautiful. Okay, now to stimulate our feet, if you could stand with the heels like this, heels together, toes angled out, and really spread the toes, you should be holding on to a door frame or a wall. Your hands just in a comfortable position with the shoulders, but heels together, toes out. Press the toes into the floor, lean forward slightly and squeeze your glutes together. Hold for 1 breath cycle, inhale, exhale, and then release. Slightly bend the knees, keep the knees out, heels together, toes out. Come up onto the toes, especially press the big toes into the floor. Hold for a breath, hold deep inhalation, exhalation, and release. Hold, inhale, exhale, and I like to breathe into the lower back so that we can expand the diaphragm in all the directions. Keeping the shoulders relaxed again. Full deep breathings. The action is not like a calf raise, so do not lift up really high onto the toes. That's not the intention at all. Simply slightly lean forward, shift the body weight onto the toes. You should feel this around the ankles in the arches. The calves, yes, to a certain extent, but it should not feel like you're just doing a really strenuous calf raise. Particularly pressing the toes down. And this will build up the strength of the plantar fascia and also give support to your Achilles tendon. Especially the big toe pressed down and relax the shoulders again. Bend the knees slightly and push the knees out. Press the heels together, big toes pressed down. Perfect. You may also feel the muscular support around your knee joints, not into the kneecap, but around above the knee, on the inside of the knee, and also on the outside of the hips. One more time, lean forward, press the toes. Hold and breathe, and relax. All right, great. Okay, so now we're going to do a hip hinging pattern, and just for preparation, you could bring your hands on your thighs. Feet should be just hip width apart. Push the hips back, so it's not a knee bend concept, but rather think about pushing your hips behind you, keeping the legs slightly bent. And when you come down, the hands will slide down your legs, hands around your knees, keep the arms really stiff and straight. Hold for a breath, full breath, inhale, exhale. Squeeze the glutes together and come to standing, bringing the hips forward. Again, stand tall, take a little sniff in with your nose, breathe in. Hold, hips, push the hips behind you. Let the arms be straight, slide the hands down your legs. Hold on just around your knees, keep the chest up. Inhale, exhale, full deep breath. Neutral spine, squeeze your glutes together and stand. The gluteal muscles are the muscles in your buttocks. One more time, keep the chin tucked in, do not let the head tip up. Stiff arms, hold on to your knees. Shoulder blades slightly together. Inhale, exhale. Squeeze the glutes together. And then come to standing. Okay, great. Now we're going to begin with the weightlifting. And if you have a weight like a kettlebell or a dumbbell, you only need 1. And if you do not have a weight, you can use just your body, or if you'd like to, something like a can of soup or water bottle. We're doing a wide stance deadlift position. So the legs, as wide as is comfortable for you. The hips and toes should be angled in the same direction. Particularly be careful of when we're doing the deadlift action, sometimes the knees tend to go in. That causes the weakness on the inside of the knees and ankles. So when we're performing the movement, you can see here the feet, as you go into your deadlift position, the knees should angle the same direction as the feet. Okay, so it's wide stance. It's exactly the same hip hinge we just practiced. If you have a kettlebell, the grip is like this, overhand grip. If you have a dumbbell or a water bottle, the grip should be like this, hands interlaced, not one hand above the other. And now to build up the strength of the tendons in the joints, we're going to do this slow and controlled, shoulder blades slightly together, push the hips back. The weight should travel vertically in between the heels, hold at the bottom, full breath cycle, inhale, exhale, engage your glutes and come to standing. Continue that pattern, push the hips back, hip hinge, hold at the bottom. The breathing pattern and the isometric holds that we're performing in our training are to build up the stability of the joints and help prevent injury. That often when the joints break down, whether it's shoulders or backs or knees or ankles, you name it, there's a level of hypermobility or too much movement in the joints. So in our training with the weightlifting, as we hold the position, we're strengthening the alignment and the tendons and the muscles to hold the joints in place. So that when you play tennis or rugby or whatever you do, your body will be in good condition. Now another aspect here of the breathing. So when you're low position, full breath, full deep inhale, deep exhale. And you'll notice that it's creating more tension. So you're getting more muscle tone building, plus developing your cardiovascular conditioning. So in all those ways, we're maximizing the benefit of our training. Good. With 3 more repetitions, keep the weight back. Every rep, initiate with the hips coming back, knees travel out in the direction of the toes, keep the shoulders back. You should be feeling this in the muscles in your buttocks, in the glutes. Most likely your legs are starting to fatigue. Keep all the toes pressing into the floor. Keep the shoulders back and deep breath. Last one, good. And recover. Beauty. Okay, so next we're going to work on, this is a swing with the arms, same basic movement pattern, but we're going to make it a little more dynamic with a swing to the side. So this is consistent with, playing tennis or gardening when you're moving your body around, mowing the lawn, which we'll soon do. Okay, so again, wide stance, and the arm swings simply in between the legs. Now, in terms of the rotator cuff, the shoulder is externally rotated, so the palm of the hand should be facing forward. Same stance, right hand has the weight, palm forward, in between the legs, out to the right side. And recover. Perfect. Okay, left arm, ready? Left hand, palm face forward. Stand really tall, in between the legs, out to the left side. Here, be careful of the hips. Make sure the hips are traveling directly forward and back. Avoid leaning over to the right leg. And rest. Okay, fantastic. So we've got the hip hinge going. Next aspect is core stabilization. So here we're going to use a series of carries with the weight. And the purpose is for stabilizing the spine. strengthening the muscles around the abdomen, shoulders, hips, rest of body to maintain our spinal alignment. For the first set, if you have a light weight, that would be ideal. We're going to be simply walking forward and backwards with the weight, and the weight in different positions. Now, depending on you, the first set, arm overhead would be the best. If you can't do that, then at shoulder level or down by the side, it's all good. And simply we'll carry the weight, walk forward, and if you could also walk backwards to strengthen the posterior chain. The position of the wrist should be such that the weight is parallel to the floor. Be careful of tipping the wrist. So often people will let the wrist kind of drop like this or rotate. Or actually, if you'd like to, I'd like to do a rotation with the wrist. So the weight is parallel to the floor, but if you'd like to, you can allow the wrist to slightly rotate like this. All right, here we go. Start with right arm. So first set, arm overhead. If that works, if not, shoulder level or by the side. Just walking forward and then walking backwards. And I'm counting 30 steps at my pace. We'll all do this together. So I like to do this for some time so that you can build up your core stability for a duration of time. So if you go for a hike, you're going for a canoe ride, different activities, playing baseball, that your core support will support you during the entire activity. And even throughout the day, right? You know, in the evening you get tired and you're slouching over the computer and your back starts to get sore. Well, here's your chance to help alleviate that issue. Okay, next, left arm, same thing. Now, obviously, you're also strengthening your shoulders, the rotator cuff. And actually helping to align your arms and shoulders as well. If the arm is overhead, think about keeping the shoulder down from the ear, but straightening the arm. That action will help you to mobilize the shoulder blade. The shoulder blade on your back needs to be able to move correctly so that you can hold your arm and shoulder in position. And rest. Really good. So that was the first set. We're doing 5 more similar sets with the carry. So if you'd like to have a rest for this one, because it can be quite intense, I like to just offer an option of massaging the hand. So you'd like to, just similar to how you massage your feet, you'd like to massage in between the bones in your hands around the wrist, and particularly around the thumb. Obviously, this is to help prevent the joints from being uncomfortable and to be able to continue to opening and flexing and extending your hands and fingers. So if you could do right hand massage, you can use, I have a hook or the edge of a table, the edge of a chair, and just massage out the fascia in the hand, right side. If you'd like to continue with the carries, will be right arm at shoulder level. Again, walking forward and backwards. And if you'd like to, you can rotate the wrist a little bit. The position of the arm should be such that the weight is directly in front of the shoulder and the elbow tucked into the side so that you'll get the maximum core stabilization effect. And also, if you think of the alignment, like when you play tennis or badminton, let's say the shoulder and the elbow and the wrist are twisting all over the place. So here is your opportunity to put the joints back in order. Fist in front of shoulder, elbow tucked into the side. Rest. And left arm. Okay. Or left hand massage or left shoulder carry. And of course, as you're carrying the weight here and walking straight, that will help you when you're doing your walks or runs to maintain better alignment and structure. Be really tall, keep the shoulders slightly back. You should be noticing your core support here. And as you're walking, pay attention to the toes. Make sure you're using your toes as you walk. That's it. Perfect. And rest. Great. So next position, we'll all go back to carrying the weight. This time, if you'd like to, you can use a heavier weight, and the weight will be down by the side. This is a great opportunity to strengthen the rotator cuff. So the arm is just like this, the shoulder and the weight directly below shoulder, shoulder slightly pulled back. Be careful of allowing the shoulders to roll forward. Standing really tall, working on our posture. Okay, right hand down by the side. Stand tall and walk. Great. And again, if you'd like to, you can rotate the wrist slightly. This will strengthen your wrists, obviously, for continuing to be able to open jars and do other things. The fact that the weight is on one side like this, and why we don't carry two, is it creates the diagonal vectors. So the diagonals of the muscles across the body, the tendons, the connective tissues. Rest. Left arm. Shoulder back slightly, straight elbow, and walk. So often injuries occur, when we have to turn to the side. You imagine if somebody rolls an ankle, things like that, because the muscles on the inside and outside don't have sufficient strength for the forces of the rotation. So when we're carrying the weight on one side like this, you're teaching your body and training those tissues to hold the joints in proper alignment under force. So very much in our training programs, the intention is to prepare you, your body, for all the fun things you can do in your life. Okay, good. So now we have 3 more sets of the carries. Again, if you'd like to take a rest for this section, I would suggest you might do a massage for the upper back. So that, we all get tight right here in between the shoulder blade and the spine. And just like the cats and dogs do, they like lie on the floor or they rub their back into you or into the chair. If you could find a corner of your room where a door frame is really good, and just lean back into it and just kind of massage in between the spine and the shoulder blade. And if you take the feet forward too, you can get a better angle, get closer to the top. Feels great. Oh yeah, that feels really good. Okay, so that's option 1. If you could please massage out right side. If you'd like to continue with the carry, right arm down by the side again, same weight. And again, making sure you're really tall and strong. So another thing I always like to mention with regards to the weight carry is that in order to build up your muscle density, your bone density, you need to apply a force to your body that's more challenging than your everyday activities. So if you lift something heavier, or if you jump up and down when you land, you apply more force. Rest, switch other arm. Okay, so left side massage or left arm carry. Good. Yeah, so with this particular move, when we're carrying the weight around for 10 minutes or whatever it might be, during that period of time, your body you're stimulating your body to make stronger bones, because your body goes, oh my God, this is heavier than me. I better make bones stronger so that I can carry this weight. And it's a really safe way, to keep a load onto the system in a movement pattern that's consistent with what we do. And, you know, just makes you stronger and not break down. Rest. Okay, good. So the heavier weight, we're finished with that for now. Next, we'll go back to the carries, and this time back to shoulder level. And again, if you have issues with your shoulders, you can always just keep your arm at the side, walking forward and backwards. Wrist rotation as you like. And even right down to, let's say, the plantar fascia. The feet, so sometimes why feet break down is simply that the connective tissues in the feet are not strong enough because, you know, we spend so much time sitting, right? And then you get up and go for a walk, but those tissues haven't been doing anything, they've been just getting weaker. And then you load them up and then you wonder why we have these plantar fascia issues. So when you carry the weight here for 10 minutes, the plantar fascia will adapt by strengthening. Perfect. Okay, and switch. Left arm, shoulder level. Right, good. And now also as we're carrying the weight for a while, you're building up the muscle tone so that throughout the day, as I said, at the end of the day, when you're tired and it's been a busy day and you're slouching around, still your muscle tone will be sufficient to hold your spine in alignment. So your spine will be really happy that you have good muscular support. Or I know at the end of a walk, right, often by the time you're finished an hour walk or something, you feel like you're really leaning forward, your back may be cranky. But this will give you more support. Yeah, so by the end of your walk, you'll still have good form. Now, one more time, right arm overhead, if you can do it. This is the last set of the carries. You can think about keeping the shoulder down from the ear, but still straightening the arm. If that's not comfortable yet, no harm. Over time in our classes, we do many exercises to help mobilize the shoulder blades and to help release the tension that we've created in our neck and shoulders. And keep breathing. In terms of cardiovascular conditioning as well. Hey, that's true actually here because you're holding on to a weight above your head particularly. The heart will have to work harder to pump the blood up. So your heart will get much stronger. Get better blood flow right up to the fingers. And recover. Okay, one more set only, left arm. Shoulder down from the ear, straighten the arm. That's it, good. And just pay attention again that your abdominal muscles, they'll have to engage to hold your spine in place. The feet are strengthening, your arches are strengthening. And keep breathing deeply. Using your diaphragm. And did it. Okay, good work, everyone. Weights down. And recover. So next component, we're going back to working the hips. But this time in lateral chain. So lateral is like movement side to side. And rotation, you know, walking around your home, going around corners. Playing sports, always side to side. And again, if you're weak in those directions, the knees will shift too much or the spine will shift out of place. So we always do single leg stance, which means you're on one leg and doing something to strengthen that pattern. I really love the single leg hip hinge It's just like this, one leg is up, one hand holds onto the weight. The supportive leg should be slightly bent and simply hip hinge, engage the glutes and stand. For today, we'll do just 2 sets of 10 repetitions. It can be quite challenging, especially if you're new. So again, you'll use a weight. You can decide if heavier or lighter. Some people would probably prefer to hold on to a chair. If you can do it without, that would be best. And again, the action, you'll hold on to the weight, the bottom one, the leg that's supporting, knees slightly bent, and hold at the bottom for a breath, engage the glutes and stand. This is, of course, obviously a good one for balance. So let's start with left hand is holding onto the weight. And the left leg will go back. When you initiate the action, be careful of one thing here, that often people, just because they're afraid of falling, right? The first thing you do is lean forward. As soon as you lean forward, you've immediately started loading up your back and your knees. So rather, stand tall and push the leg back, hip hinge back, and then let yourself hinge down, as opposed to just leaning forward from the start. Let's give it a try. Left hand, right foot, spread the toes, press them into the floor firmly. Left leg will go back. Hold at the bottom, inhale, exhale, engage your glutes and stand. And most definitely, you should be feeling this in the right hip. Really spread the toes. Recover. Excellent. Then other side. Okay, right hand with the weight. Left side, spread the toes, left foot. Bend the knee just slightly, right foot up, right leg back. Recover. So definitely, right, as I said, you should feel this on the outside of the hip. Okay, one more time, left hand has the weight. Great way to work on your focus, is it not? Okay, right leg supporting, left hand with weight, left leg back. Recover. Last set here, right hand. Okay, stand tall. Right foot, spread the toes, press them down. Right leg back. And recover. Okay, good work, everyone. Excellent. Good. Now we're going to work on squat patterns. So today we do largely our lower body strengthening exercises. And now if you please have a broomstick, that would be great. We're doing a set of overhead squats. If you do not have a broomstick, you can just use a band. So if you have a band, the grip is like this. You have overhand grip, and then wrap the hands and pull out slightly so that you feel tension on the outside of the shoulders. If you don't have a band or a broomstick, you would just use your arms. The position of the arms would be just down by the sides like this. If you have a broomstick, it's like this. You can have underhand or overhand grip, narrow or wide, low or high as you prefer. So my favorite position is the wide stance like we did earlier, underhand grip and overhead. Okay, so just rest for a moment. So if you do not have a broomstick, the broomstick position I like to just hold overhead. If you're just using your arms or the band, you would start with the arms low, go down into the squat, hold, inhale, exhale, and then stand. With the broomstick, my preference is just simply to hold the overhead position to maximize the core strengthening. So as we described earlier as well, the knees, really critical here, that when you're going down into the squat, the knees should track in the direction of the toes. Be careful of the knees going in. Knees and toes should be same angle. Okay, so let us begin. So wide stance, whatever works for you. So either band, arms if you want to overhead. Okay, so please stand tall first, press the toes into the floor. Think about your tailbone straight down toward the floor, in between the heels, push the knees away from each other. Keep the knees tracking in direction of toes. Hold at the bottom for a breath. Engage your glutes and stand. That's fantastic. So just continue holding at the bottom for your full breath. Keep the toes fully connected. Keep the big toes pressing down. Keep the arches lifted to build up the strength of your plantar fascia. That's it. And deep breathing. So here you're training yourself how to breathe properly, even under a stressful environment. Inhale, exhale fully, engage the glutes. So what you should be feeling here is the toes are working. Glutes for sure. Squeeze the glutes. You should feel this all around the hips, the inside, internal and external rotators of the hips. Keep the knees out. And if you feel the muscles around the knee joints, that's okay. They're getting stronger. You should not be feeling pain into the kneecap. That would indicate that the kneecap is, that your knee is shifting forward too much. But give yourself time. Just do what feels comfortable, what feels good for you. If you have any questions, you can always let me know. Any particular issues? Keep the arches lifted. Just a couple more here. Full deep breath. Engage the glutes every rep. Relax the glutes on the way down. Hold and breathe. Squeeze the glutes firmly together to come to the top. That was beautiful. Okay, really good. And now we're going to do a sets of the squats, but with a band. And the purpose here is to build up the vector, the diagonal vectors across the body, consistent with walking. When you walk, it's like this, opposite arm and leg that are forward. Same thing when we do these squats. You'll strengthen the vector across your back into the opposite hip. So I have this band, and this is a chin-up bar, or you can have a J hook. Many of you may not have a band. That's okay. You can do the same exercise without a band. If you have a TRX, a suspension trainer, those are ideal actually for this as well. All right, so if you do not have a band, then you just hold on to a chair. So same concept, hold on with one hand, and you'll simply do the squats holding onto the chair. The band is, preferable, let's say, because you get, of course, the extra strength building component. Okay, so we're going to do 2 sets. Again, the whole position is when you're in your deep squat position. As we discussed, the knees track the same direction as toes. So just watch out for the knee angles here. This is a great chance for you to rehab the alignment of your knees. Start with left hand holding on. If you have a band, you start with the arm by the side, and then go as you do the squat, your arm will straighten and pull and stand up. Okay, let's go. Left hand, elbow by the side, pull your arm in if you have a band, or else you just hold onto your chair. Legs are wide stance. Tailbone straight down toward the floor. Straighten the arm. Inhale, exhale at the bottom. Engage the glutes and stand. Be sure of the timing here. At the top, your elbow is pulled in firmly. Straighten the arm, sit down. Engage your glutes, pull to stand. Perfect. Okay, now at the bottom, full breath. Engage the glutes and up. That side. Keep the knees tracking direction of toes. That's it. Okay, good. Now the shoulder blade, the left arm, the holding arm. Okay, at the top, release the shoulder blade away from the spine as you squat down. Hold. Engage your glutes, pull the shoulder blade toward the spine to stand. Make sure you get the full rotation of the shoulder blade, as opposed to just pulling with the arm. And recover. Okay, really good. Now right arm. So arm pulled by the side, really firmly, or you're holding onto your chair. Make sure the chest is facing directly forward. Spread your toes, press them down. Squat down, straighten the arm. Inhale, exhale, and up. Okay, now shoulder blade goes away from the spine. To come to standing, shoulder blade pull toward the spine. Good. Okay, now at the top, we'll release the glutes, go down to the low position. At the bottom, engage the glutes to stand. Always initiate with the hips. At the bottom, full breath, release the shoulder blade. That's better. Squeeze your glutes together, up. Perfect. Keep all of the toes pressing into the floor. With the deep breathing, you'll really help your cardiovascular conditioning. And it'll be noticeable, when you play tennis or go for a long walk, you'll find that you'll have much better breathing, more comfortable, less fatigue. You should feel your legs getting tired. That's why we're doing this. Keep the knees out though. Don't let the knees come in toward each other, okay? Keep the chest square forward. Be careful of over-rotating toward the left. That's better. Okay, good. Now this time again, take the shoulder blade away. Relax your right shoulder blade. There you go. That's so good. That's the way. Take the tension out of the upper back. And use your glutes to stand. Recover? Okay, really good. Okay, we're going to do another set. The second set, I'd like to focus on the timing of the glutes and the knees. So let's start with left arm holding on. Exactly the same exercise. Pull your arm by your side, wide stance, toes angled out. Chest is square forward, press all the toes to the floor. Okay, squat down, straighten the arm. Inhale, exhale at the bottom. Engage the glutes, pull and stand. Now, if you could focus on the hips. So when you're starting the descent, the hips will release evenly. When you're at the bottom, the right side, left side, and glutes engage simultaneously. When you're at the top, your glutes should be engaged firmly. At the top, squeeze the glutes together firmly. Perfect. And focus on even right side, left side. Okay, now similarly with the knees. When you go into the low position, knees bend at the same time, simultaneous bending. Glutes engage and knees straighten simultaneously. Always initiate with the glutes, let the knees follow. If you think about just using your thigh muscles, then you'll feel it in the knees. If you focus on using your glutes, you'll feel the muscles supporting the knees, but not pressure into the kneecap. Again, keep the knees out. Release the shoulder blade from the spine. Right and left side. We're working towards, making right and left side more balanced, more symmetrical. And recover. Yeah, that was really good. So now right hand holding on. So with your band, you stand back, pull your elbow by your side, legs wide. That's it. Okay. Release the glutes and go to the squat, straighten the arm. Shoulder blade away from the spine. Engage the glutes and pull. In terms of the spine, it's really critical that when you come to standing, that you initiate by glutes together, then pull. It's just a very subtle discrepancy in the timing, but it should be glutes first, then pull. If you initiate with the pulling action, then you'll be straining the muscles along the back, okay? So think glutes first, then pull. A slight timing sequence. Right? I think right side, left side, the hips and knees. Even. The timing is balanced. Okay, now the right shoulder blade, release the shoulder blade. Feels good, yeah? Okay, keep all the toes pressing into the floor. Keep the big toes pressing. That's the way. Squeeze the glutes. This tempo that we do the training will maximize your strength building. So it's comparable to lifting very heavy weights, but often people get hurt when they lift heavy weights because of poor alignment. And when we're doing it like this, that you're correcting your alignment, stabilizing your joints to help prevent injuries. And you can feel how challenging it is too, I'm sure. Rest. Okay, way to go, everybody. That's so good. All right. So next part of training is more for shoulders and upper back, chest. We're going to do a series of exercises that will strengthen the upper body in every direction. And we're going to start with diagonal lifts. Here, if you can please get a light weight. In the position of your legs, you can have your feet With the part I like to do as we practiced earlier, heels together, toes out. Again, we're going to do a lift to the side, hold there for a breath cycle and then down. The grip on the kettlebell, if you have, is like this. So that you can tuck the elbows. If you have a dumbbell or a water bottle, again, I would have like hands interlaced. If you have one hand above, the shoulders will be offset. Okay, so here we go for the golfers and the gardeners and the canoers. Heels together, toes out, tennis players. Okay, we're going to start with weight in front of the left hip and pull up in front of the right shoulder. Inhale, exhale, and release. Left glutes to right shoulder. That's perfect. Keep all of the toes pressing into the floor, especially press the big toe down to keep your arches strong. So this is rotational core work. You're applying a rotational force across the body, and your core, your abdomen, the obliques, the muscles on the sides, the glutes, they have to engage to hold your pelvis and rib cage in position. And that's the secret to maintaining the alignment of the spine. Like the herniations, you know, when the spine shifts and pinches the nerve root. If you have this kind of strength, then that will help prevent those issues. Perfect. The other side. So right hip, left shoulder. Keeping the shoulders down from the ears, that's good. You should feel this in the abdomen. And on the, particularly the sides of the abdomen. Every rep, think right glutes, left shoulder. That's it. Use the glutes for sure. As well, here you're learning how to stabilize your pelvis to hold your spine in alignment. So a lot of good things happening. Building up the power of your shoulders for lifting things. Recover. Okay, we'll do one more set. Left hip, right shoulder. Glutes then lift every time. Keep the shoulders down from the ears, and that will help facilitate the rotation of the shoulder blades. It's called thoracic spine rotation. The shoulder girdle, the shoulder blades, collarbone, the rotator cuff, the arms column come along. Excellent. Okay, one more time. Other side, right hip, left shoulder. And you can note how core is working here. Keeping the shoulders down from the ears. And rest. Okay, that was great. So similarly, we're going to now do pulling down on a diagonal. If you do not have a band or a place to attach a band, then no harm. You can just perform the same movement without the band. So this is a pulling action diagonally across the body. And the upper hand is underhand, the lower hand is overhand. The arms will be somewhat separated. So this is like a chop, or similar to canoeing concept. Now, we can either stand, I like to kneel when I do this one. For one reason is the band is higher, so you get a better range. But the other factor is you get really good glute support if you kneel, but you don't need to. So if you want to stand, your feet are just hip width apart, standing tall. Be careful of the hips drifting forward. So you want to make sure you're engaging your glutes as you're doing the pulling. Again, you don't need a band. Simply do the movement and you'll definitely feel your core. If you'd like to kneel, then we'll start with both knees on the floor. The band, if you have a band attached, the left side of you is to the band. We're going left hand, underhand, so we're going high left to low right. You can see, you just pull down on diagonal across the body. Use the glutes. At the bottom, when you pull down, hold and use your glutes. That's perfect. Okay, now keep the body square forward. That's it. So the right arm as you pull down, rotate the shoulder back. Just be careful of the right shoulder rolling forward. That's perfect. Hold at the bottom for a full breath. Inhale, exhale. Should feel this in glutes and abs. And of course, definitely the shoulders are working here, making yourself strong. These last two exercises that we're doing, the lifts, the diagonal lifts, and these diagonal chops, strengthen every muscle in the upper body in every possible direction. So it's a really efficient way to train the upper body. Keep the chest open, use the glutes for support. Perfect. Okay, now turn around. So this time we're pulling high right, low left. High right, low left, right hand underhand, left hand overhand. Use the glutes, everyone, and pull. Keep your body square forward. Avoid, for today's exercise, avoid twisting the rib cage. That's it, good. Keep the left arm really strong at the bottom. And if you keep that arm stiff at the bottom, then you'll really get the tricep muscles to engage. You can try to feel the shoulder blade pull toward the spine, and that brings the weight, the band with you. Perfect. Use your glutes for support. That's the way. I like to generally keep the arms straight. As I said, we'd like to stabilize the joints. In life, there's a lot of torquing that goes around in our wrists and elbows and shoulders. So here I like to strengthen the alignment of those joint systems. And then when you're gardening and golfing and playing tennis, that bit of torque your body can tolerate. Or pickleball, there's another big one. And even walking, right? Some, your shoulders get tired when you walk. Okay, turn around again. This time, if you'd like to, we can do a split stance position. Left leg forward. Again, we're going high left, low right, left hand underhand, right hand overhand. Keep the body square forward and open the chest. As you're pulling down, be careful of rotating the shoulders in. That's great. Okay, good. And now right arm, if you stiffen it, you'll notice the triceps getting stronger. Using your core support. Your glutes are working to hold you in position. It's all good. And breathe. Okay, let's start breathing again. So that's what happens in our lives, right? You're in a stressful situation, breathing shuts down. That's why I say, like here, you're using your cardiovascular conditioning abilities to get stronger. The other part of the breathing is the spine. If you're not breathing deeply enough, then the spine will have to will become often more kind of stiff and you don't want to think about that, but so just breathe deeply and you'll help alleviate issues with your lower back for sure. Other way around. This is the last exercise for today. If you'd like to, right leg forward. High right, low left. Right hand underhand, left hand overhand. Make sure the hips are square forward. And again, no twisting of your body here. The upper back rotation. And deep breathing, deep breathing. Fully straighten the left arm. Every time, full breath, hold for a full breath. And recover. Great. Good. Well, thank you very much for joining me. Again, I'm Uttara. If you'd like to join our classes or if you're interested in personal sessions, please send me an email. And right now, if you just stand and notice again your feet, how much more grounded they are, how much more solid, and how strong you feel. And that's the basis of our training. Now we're ready for life. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll see you again soon.